What if the cold cuts in your sandwich are more dangerous than the drive-through meal you swore off years ago? Do you know that in the past 5 years, the FDA and USDA have issued over 30 major recalls tied to packaged deli meat, with listeria, salmonella, and even fragments of metal? Yet, the same products remain on store shelves, wrapped in words like natural, fresh, and trusted. That raised a question that behind the curtain. What are they really feeding us when grocery chains quietly cut corners, mislabeling preservatives, ignoring sanitation violations, and sourcing from factories with labor abuse? Your meal now turns into a gamble. And for many Americans juggling medications, health concerns, and fixed incomes, one wrong bite could trigger an expensive hospital visit. This is the Downturn Report, where the truth gets personal. And today, we're pulling back the plastic on 7 supermarket chains whose packaged deli meats may look harmless, but are hiding silent threats that could hit you when you least expect it. Let's begin. Number 1. Kroger. You'd think a store with neighbor in its DNA would care what lands on your plate. Kroger has long positioned itself as America's dependable backyard grocer, where the handwritten price tags feel familiar, and the deli counter hums with comfort and convenience. Whether it's Ralph's in California or King Soopers in Colorado, the brand stretches coast to coast like a well-worn quilt stitched with nostalgia. But what happens when that quilt starts to unravel, and what's hidden underneath makes you sick to your stomach? Right at the heart of Kroger's deli game are 2 house brands, Private Selection and Simple Truth. Sounds classy, right? Like something you'd serve at a church luncheon or a Sunday potluck. But pop the lid, and what you're really buying might just belong in a lab, not a lunchbox. Let's start with Private Selection. The name might suggest artisan cuts and candlelit carving boards. But in reality, some of these meats come from the same industrial giants supplying Walmart and ALDI. Think Smithfield Foods and Tyson. Names tied to animal abuse scandals, unsafe working conditions, and environmental fines that read more like rap sheets. Kroger may sell comfort, but the source of that comfort is a factory line soaked in ammonia and lawsuits. Now take a look at what's inside. Several Private Selection deli meats, including roast beef and smoked turkey, are laced with potassium lactate, sodium diacetate, and carrageenan. Carrageenan, that slick little ingredient used to thicken and stabilize, has been linked in animal studies to digestive inflammation and even tumor formation. But at least it keeps your turkey moist. Right, Simple Truth. The brand marketed as Kroger's natural solution is just as slippery. Back in 2020, the National Advertising Division of the Better Business Bureau found Kroger guilty of misleading labels, particularly in its meat and dairy lines. Products touted as natural were traced back to suppliers still using antibiotics, growth hormones, and unnatural feed, directly clashing with the label's promise. In other words, it's not so much simple truth as it is complicated lie. And if you're still hungry, let's talk about sanitation in 2023. The FDA issued a public warning after listeria was detected in meats at Kroger's Springfield, Tennessee distribution hub. The USDA soon forced recalls of Simple Truth turkey and Private Selection honey ham, both of which had already shipped to 12 chains across 8 states. Internal memos later showed it wasn't just a fluke, but the result of poor refrigeration and lazy cleaning practices. Turns out, the only thing chilling in that warehouse was responsibility. Third-party deli brands and Kroger don't fare much better. Ever picked up Oscar Mayer or John Morrell? Oscar Mayer had to recall its turkey breast in 2018 over, you guessed it, bone fragments. John Morrell's history is darker. In 2017, multiple workers suffered amputations and chemical burns in processing plants that were later fined for safety violations. And yet, there they are in the fridge, smiling sandwich graphics slapped across packages like a bad joke. This isn't just about bad ham, but a whole broken system. One that favors speed and scale over ethics and safety. One that slices profits out of your trust and leaves older, cash-strapped customers footing the real bill in medical co-pays and quiet suffering. A smarter move. Try Diestel Family Ranch deli meats, sold at natural grocers and co-ops across the country. Their meats are nitrate-free, slow-roasted, and humanely raised. No lab-grade additives, no shady suppliers. These are just food you can actually recognize and pronounce. And the best part? It tastes like something your grandmother might have made, back when honesty still fit on a plate. Now, In 2025, you have to accept the fact that sometimes truth isn't a label, but what's left when you peel the label off. Number 2, Costco. If grocery stores had poker faces, Costco would be the one grinning calmly, swearing its hand is clean, while hiding a joker in its sleeve for decades. Costco has been America's warehouse wonderland, where you can stock up on everything from toilet paper to TVs while snacking on free samples for older, budget-conscious shoppers. Costco feels like a rare win in a world of rising prices. The brand's image is built on trust, bulk savings, and a sense of middle-class comfort. And at the heart of its meat section lies the mighty Kirkland signature, Costco's pride and joy. But in the case of packaged deli meat, that pride may be rotting from the inside out. Let's begin with Kirkland's signature honey-roasted turkey breast, one of Costco's top-selling deli items in 2022. Independent food watchdog. The Cornucopia Institute released a report highlighting excessive phosphate additives in several Kirkland deli meat varieties. These phosphates, while legal, are increasingly linked to kidney strain and cardiovascular risk in older adults, especially those with underlying conditions. The packaging doesn't warn you, but the health consequences can be slow, silent, and devastating. Kind of like putting a time bomb in your plate. It doesn't stop at phosphates. Kirkland's deli meats are also packed with potassium lactate, sodium erythorbate, and modified cornstarch, creating a Frankenstein product designed more for shelf life than nutrition. In fact, one 2023 lab analysis found that a standard 2-ounce serving of Kirkland deli ham contained over 700 milligrams of sodium, nearly 1/3 of the recommended daily intake. For older Americans watching their blood pressure, that's like playing bingo with your arteries. And don't forget the supplier connection. While Kirkland makes it sound like the deli meat comes straight from a family farm, investigations have shown that much of it is co-manufactured by big players like Tyson Foods, a company infamous for its trail of animal cruelty videos, OSHA violations, and pollution lawsuits. In 2020 alone, Tyson paid over $221 million in fines related to antitrust violations and deceptive marketing of poultry and pork products. That means even when you're buying Kirkland, you're indirectly supporting a system that's been exposed repeatedly for putting profit over ethics, safety, and human decency. Then there's the human toll. Costco came under fire in 2021 for sourcing meat from suppliers implicated in forced labor practices in Central America. According to a report by The Guardian, workers in meat processing plants supplying major U.S. retailers, including Costco, were allegedly subject to wage theft, unsafe conditions, and threats of deportation. On top of that, several Kirkland deli meat items, including the rotisserie-style chicken breast and Black Forest ham, were part of FDA inspection warnings regarding cross-contamination risks due to shared processing lines with allergens and raw meats. In other words, your so-called clean sandwich meat may have been sliced on a surface that just saw raw chicken. Even Costco loyalists have started to speak out. Forums like Costco Reddit and Consumer Affairs are filled with complaints about sour smells, green edges, slimy textures, all appearing days before the listed expiration dates. It's a disturbing picture, one that doesn't quite match the well-lit warehouse aisles and friendly checkout lanes. When a brand that built its reputation on bulk trust starts showing cracks in the cold case, it's time to ask, what's really being sold here if you're still seeking that sweet spot between savings and safety without trading one for the other? There is a better path forward. Try deli meats from True Story Foods, available at natural grocers and independent markets like New Leaf or Mom's Organic Market. They're certified organic, made without synthetic additives, and sourced from family farms with real humane certification. Their meats are slow cooked, sliced fresh, and rigorously tested. Clearly no secrecy, no scandals, and no chemical roulette. Keep watching, because number 3 will shock you, since this is always one of the most trusted supermarket chains for decades, and you will never expect this friend is also in the list today. Number 3, Publix. Walk into a Publix and you're not just grocery shopping. You're stepping into a southern institution. Folks don't just shop here, they brag about it. From the scent of fresh bread wafting from the bakery to the immaculate floors and ever-smiling staff, Publix has mastered the art of making a trip to the store feel like a polite family reunion. And in retirement communities across Florida and Georgia, it's practically a routine wrapped in a hug. The message is clear, you're safe here. But the bitter truth is sometimes the thing that makes you feel the safest is exactly what catches you off guard. Head to the deli meat section and you'll see what looks like a clean, curated paradise. Greenwise and Publix branded meats sit alongside brands like Dietz and Watson and Oscar Mayer, shining behind the glass like trusted staples. Labels promise organic, minimally processed, no antibiotics, all the phrases that sing sweet songs to cautious shoppers. But when the music stops and you read the fine print, the tune changes fast. Let's start with Greenwise. It markets itself as the halo-wearing saint of lunch meats, with ethical, clean, good for you. But in 2021, Publix got hit with a class action lawsuit accusing the chain of selling Greenwise meats labeled antibiotic-free and humanely raised that were anything but. The suit claimed the meats came from the same cramped, drug-heavy industrial farms the brand claimed to rise above. Turns out, the only thing green about Greenwise might be the money saved cutting corners. Even the classic Publix branded meats are more sciencey. Their honey ham and oven-roasted turkey, the kind you'd grab without a second thought, are often pumped full of modified food starch, sodium erythorbate, and potassium acetate. According to studies in the International Journal of Toxicology, high intake of potassium acetate can lead to intestinal issues and elevated blood pressure, two things that no senior, especially one on blood thinners, needs sneaking into their lunch, and it doesn't stop at ingredients. In 2022, an investigation by the Tampa Bay Times exposed chilling storage practices at multiple Publix locations. Deli meats left unrefrigerated for hours, packs relabeled instead of discarded. One former employee said, "We were told to change dates, not toss products, especially with slower sellers like turkey pastrami and smoked ham. The focus was on salvage, not safety." And while Publix issued a quiet internal recall that same year, the public was left largely in the dark. Now, about those outside brands. Oscar Mayer is still hanging around. This is the same brand that recalled over 2 million pounds of turkey in 2019 for labeling failures and undisclosed allergens. Dietz and Watson, while often praised as premium, has its own ghosts. In 2017, a USDA probe linked its products to facilities with listeria violations, connections the brand denied, but supply chain overlaps told a different story. And here's the sour cherry on top. In 2020, Publix refused to join the Fair Food Program, a nationally respected initiative designed to ensure fair labor and protect food workers from abuse, for a company that sells humanely raised meat. Their refusal painted a sharp line between branding and actual values. So what do you get at Publix deli section that sparkles on the surface? But underneath, it's hiding chemical tricks, misleading claims, poor handling, and a value system that shifts with the profit margin. It's a hard truth to swallow, especially when the store's charm makes you want to believe in it. A better choice for you are Welshire Farms or 365 organic deli meats, found at Whole Foods and select independent grocers. These brands offer USDA certified organic products, no synthetic nitrates, and clear, honest sourcing. They're also processed in cleaner facilities and meet higher inspection standards, with many items approved for paleo and Whole30 diets. Bear with us a little more because surely everyone has shopped at number 4 at least once in their life. And after that, number 5 is a huge insult, for the word safe lies in its proud name. Can you guess which one is this number 4? Walmart. What's the real cost of a value pack when the meat inside smells like it's been on a Greyhound trip across 3 states with no refrigeration? Walmart might look like the friendly giant offering deli meat at prices that seem too good to pass up. But sometimes, too good is exactly the problem. That cheerful great value label might as well come with a warning sign shaped like a hospital bed. Let's start with the salty truth. Tests have shown Walmart's deli meat can pack over 200 parts per million of sodium nitrite, more than just seasoning. It's a chemical that the World Health Organization classifies in the same cancer category as asbestos in cigarettes. Think about that next time you make a sandwich for your loved one. Are we feeding our family one lunch or handing them a loaded gun with mayo? And while you're chewing on that, consider the year 2022. That's when USDA inspectors flagged several Walmart packaged deli meats, like turkey, ham, the usual suspects for listeria contamination. Listeria doesn't care if it's Sunday brunch or a quick weekday bite. For older adults and those with weaker immune systems, it can turn a snack into a hospital stay. Suddenly, that cheap meat doesn't look like such a bargain. But here's where things really rot. Former warehouse workers have blown the whistle on chilling conditions in Walmart distribution centers. Imagine leaking pallets of meat, mold creeping across cardboard, broken fridges humming like a dying lawnmower. One ex-employee described watching expired deli meat get wiped down and relabeled like it was going to prom. You thought you were buying Thursday's ham, but you got Monday's biohazard in disguise. The packaging vacuum sealed tight, like a NASA experiment gone wrong. But what happens inside that airtight cocoon? Moisture builds up, and bacteria begin their buffet. Countless customers have reported opening packs of fresh meat only to be greeted with green edges, slimy textures, or smells that could wake the dead. As one online reviewer put it, "I opened it and thought maybe I'd dropped it in the trash by accident." And the sourcing one of Walmart's suppliers was caught on hidden camera, housing chickens in ammonia-choked sheds, walking through their own filth, while workers were told to ignore obvious suffering. It's not farming, just pure horror theater. And every slice of processed chicken loaf sends an RSVP to that nightmare. Still, Walmart sells a dream of affordability, of food security, of stretching a budget without sacrificing safety. But what happens when that dream rots from the inside out, just like the meat? So what can you trust instead? Boar's Head, available at ShopRite, is a safer play. Their meats skip the artificial fillers and the chemical preservatives. These are also processed under stricter, more transparent standards. Don't Have a ShopRite Sprouts Farmers Market also offers deli meat with cleaner sourcing and a better inspection record, with fewer chemicals, fewer horror stories, and a whole lot fewer regrets. Sure, the price is higher, but at least you're not playing roulette with every bite. Because sometimes, the real cost of that bargain turkey isn't on the price tag, but in the hospital bills you didn't see coming. Number 5, Safeway, with its neat aisles, polished deli cases, and promises of trusted since 1915. Safeway and its parent company Albertsons have long been the go-to for Americans who want just enough comfort without going broke. For older folks living on fixed incomes, Safeway offers that illusion of balance. Not too cheap, not too fancy, just safe. But what if safe is just another word for don't look too closely? Their deli meats wrapped neatly in house brands like Signature Select, O Organics, and Lucerne sit innocently in the cold case, waiting to be trusted. The labels are gentle, the fonts are soothing, the language fresh, premium. Quality you can count on whispers confidence. But behind that packaging is a mess of missteps that would make any consumer rethink their sandwich. Start with Signature Select. In 2023, an internal quality control audit quietly leaked by an Albertsons employee showed that several batches of roast beef and smoked ham under the Signature label had failed cold chain safety requirements. Translation: they got too warm during transport or storage, long enough for bacteria like Listeria and E. coli to get comfy. That same year, over 34,000 pounds of deli ham were recalled from Albertsons-owned stores after testing flagged possible Listeria monocytogenes contamination. And unlike bacteria, trust doesn't bounce back after a warm ride in a broken truck. O Organics, their so-called healthier line, comes with its own set of bad ingredients, and we're not just talking about what's inside the meat. A 2021 report by the Environmental Working Group found that O Organics meats, though labeled organic, were processed in facilities that shared equipment with non-organic products. That's a violation of the National Organic Program standards. It's like buying a gluten-free cake that got cut with the same knife used for garlic bread. The label says one thing, the slicer says another. And Lucerne, though mostly known for dairy, has quietly slipped into the deli game with packaged salads and meat combos. But in 2019, Lucerne had to yank several of those products off the shelves due to undeclared allergens and mislabeling for seniors managing serious conditions like heart disease or food allergies. That kind of mistake isn't just a paperwork error, it's a potential trip to the ER. Then there's Hormel, one of Safeway's most prominent third-party deli brands. Hormel's Natural Choice line has been called out by food safety groups for misleading no preservatives claims. Why? Because it uses cultured celery powder, a nitrate-rich ingredient that works like a chemical preservative in disguise. And that's just the labeling. In 2020, undercover footage exposed horrifying abuse of pigs at a Hormel supplier facility, overcrowded pens, injured animals, and workers using physical force. A slice of ham shouldn't come with a side of cruelty. Add to this a chilling report from Bloomberg in 2020, where Albertsons employees described being forced to work while sick at distribution centers including meatpacking and refrigeration hubs during the height of the pandemic. COVID-19 outbreaks in those facilities led to confirmed deaths and hospitalizations. If that's how management treats people touching your food, what does that say about the meat ending up in your fridge and the customer complaints? They pile up like forgotten leftovers on forums like Reddit and Consumer Affairs. Shoppers describe deli meats that reek before their sell-by dates, with textures compared to wet tissue and smells reminiscent of dirty gym socks. These aren't one-off cases, they're symptoms of systemic neglect wrapped in shrink wrap and a smiling logo. So next time you grab that polite little pack of ham at Safeway, remember it may look harmless, but the story behind it is anything but. It's not food, it's a gamble, and you're the one holding the bill when it goes bad. If you're looking for a safer play, try North Country Smokehouse, available at Sprouts and select independent grocers. Their deli meats are slow smoked, small batch crafted, certified humane, and regularly tested for contaminants. No hidden chemicals, no vague claims, just meat that tells the truth. Because you shouldn't need to study a law degree just to trust what's inside your sandwich. Number 6, ALDI. Aldi is the kind of store that whispers, you're not broke, you're doing smart, with bare bones aisles, prices that feel like a throwback to another decade, and packaging that promises quality without the marketing fluff. It's easy to feel like you've stumbled on a secret cheat code for survival, especially for older folks managing tight budgets. ALDI feels like a rare place where the math finally works. The deli meat section greets you with cheerful colors and promises of value, with brands like Lunchmate, Parkview, and never any practically shout from the fridge, trust us, we've got your back. But dig just a little beneath that bright label, and you may find your trusted meal is hiding something rotten. Take Lunchmate, Aldi's flagship deli brand. The label says natural flavors and lean turkey, but the ingredients read more like a high school chemistry quiz. Many products include mechanically separated meat. That's industry speak for poultry mush scraped off bones with high-pressure nozzles. It turns leftovers into luncheon meat, and stomachs into question marks. Even worse, some Lunchmate varieties have tested positive for propylene glycol, the same substance you'll find in antifreeze and some deodorants. Sure, the FDA says small amounts are safe, but the European Food Safety Authority warns of long-term risks to kidneys and livers, especially for older adults. You thought you were biting into a healthy ham wrap. Instead, you may be dosing yourself with something your radiator would appreciate, and the meat itself. Its backstory reads like a crime novel. In 2021, watchdog group Food and Water Watch traced ALDI's pork and poultry supply chain to factory farms with repeated violations. Animals crammed into filthy conditions, pumped with antibiotics, and processed under mega producers like Smithfield Foods. Smithfield's record includes lawsuits over toxic waste, animal abuse, and forcing workers to stay on meat lines during illness outbreaks. So when you're buying ham, it means you're buying into an industrial system that treats people and animals like disposable parts, closer to home. ALDI's own practices aren't much better. A 2022 undercover report from ABC News in Michigan found expired deli meats being rewrapped and relabeled as fresh in multiple ALDI stores. When asked, employees blamed it on policy confusion. That's a fancy way of saying, oops, your meals might give you food poisoning. Even their sausage line, Parkview, isn't safe. Back in 2019, their smoked turkey sausage was yanked from shelves in a nationwide recall after customers discovered metal fragments and bone shards inside. A little crunch in your lunch meat. That's not seasoning, that's a dental emergency. And while ALDI touts its never-any line as the clean alternative, no antibiotics, no added hormones, no preservatives, watchdogs have raised serious questions. No third-party certification, no transparent sourcing, and no clear proof the meat is as clean as the marketing makes it sound. One expert called it a brand built on buzzwords, not backbone. So here's the dirty truth, ALDI's deli meats may look like a deal, but the price isn't printed on the sticker. It's in your body. It's the blood pressure spike from all those additives, the silent risk of contamination. And it's the slow, creeping realization that your trust is being trimmed as thinly as the turkey. Looking for a better bite? Applegate Naturals is worth the upgrade. Found at Whole Foods and Fresh Time Market, Applegate offers USDA organic deli meats, certified humane and free from synthetic nitrates, fillers, or mystery meat glue. You'll pay more, but you'll also know where your food came from, how it was raised, and what isn't hiding in the fine print. Number 7, Target. Target might look like the stylish, harmless place to grab toothpaste and throw pillows. But its deli meat section tells a different story. The in-house brand, Good and Gather, promises convenience and health with phrases like no artificial preservatives and smoked to perfection. But that clean packaging masks real concerns. In 2023, independent lab tests revealed that Good and Gather deli meats contain trace amounts of nitrosamines compounds linked to cancer. Even small levels raise alarm for older adults avoiding carcinogens. The same test showed high sodium and potassium lactate levels, posing serious risks for anyone managing blood pressure or kidney disease. A 2-ounce serving had nearly 700 milligrams of sodium, almost a third of the recommended daily limit. That's not the worst part. In 2022, the FDA cited the Nebraska plant producing Good and Gather meats for unsanitary conditions, dripping ceilings, cockroaches, and missing sanitation logs. Yet those meats were still shipped to stores. And while the label avoids words like nitrate, it hides preservatives under names like celery powder and cultured dextrose. It's clean branding hiding chemical truth. You've seen the labels, you've heard the promises, but behind the plastic seal lies a truth no price tag can hide. When the meats we trust are loaded with chemicals, cut in contaminated plants, or tied to human abuse, it's no longer just food, it's a risk wrapped in convenience. If your sandwich can betray you, what else might be lurking in your cart? Subscribe for more truth they don't want you to read on a label. Your health deserves better.